Hello, and welcome to Insurance World TV. We are glad you could join us. Today, like always, we have an insightful video full of lessons just for you. Without belaboring the point, let us get into it. In our last video, we explored the concept of the financial freedom number, and more importantly, we introduced a powerful idea known as the 4% rule. Now, if you haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend you pause right here and go watch it first, because it lays the foundation for everything we're about to discuss. Click the link here and watch it. But after that conversation, we felt there was a need to go deeper. Because while many people use the 4% rule, very few actually understand where it comes from, who created it, and why it works in the first place. So in this video, we're going to break down the 4% rule properly and explore its origin, find out when it was first applied, who applied it, what is the research behind it, and whether it still holds up today. Because if you're going to base your financial future on a formula, you need to understand it, not just use it. Chapter 1: The problem that started it all. Let's go back to the early 1990s, when financial advisors were facing a serious problem. Clients approaching retirement were asking one very important question: how much can I safely withdraw from my savings every year without running out of money? Surprisingly, there was no clear, data-backed answer to their question. Most guidance at the time was based on opinion rather than evidence. That is when William Bengen, a financial planner, decided to go deeper into the data. He analyzed historical market performance, looking at stocks and bonds going as far back as 1926, with one goal in mind: to find a withdrawal rate that could survive even the worst economic conditions. His research led to a landmark finding, and in 1994, he published his results in the Journal of Financial Planning. This work became the foundation of what we now call the 4% rule. Chapter 2: How the 4% rule was developed. Bengen tested different withdrawal rates across multiple economic periods, including the Great Depression, high inflation in the 1970s, market crashes, and economic booms. His goal was simple: find the maximum withdrawal rate that would survive the worst-case scenarios. And after extensive testing, he arrived at a number which was 4% of your investment portfolio annually. Chapter 3: What the 4% rule actually means. The 4% rule states that if you withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio annually and adjust that amount for inflation each year, your money is highly likely to last at least 30 years, assuming that you have invested in a diversified portfolio over a long-term period and with investing discipline and consistent withdrawals. In simple terms, your investments generate income while preserving capital. Chapter 4: The Trinity study that validated the 4% rule. A few years later, the research was tested again, this time by a group of professors at Trinity University. In what became known as the Trinity study of 1998, they analyzed market data from 1925 to 1995 different asset allocations, and various withdrawal rates. And their conclusion? The 4% rule had a very high success rate over a 30-year retirement period. This study helped cement the rule as a global benchmark in financial planning. Chapter 5. Why it is used for financial freedom. Now, let's bring it back to you. Why is this rule so important? It is important because it gives you something incredibly powerful.
Clarity.
Instead of guessing how much money you need,
You can calculate it.
using the formula. Financial freedom number equals annual expenses divided by 0.04, which is the same as multiplying your annual expenses by 25. This transforms financial planning into something measurable and achievable. Chapter 6. Limitations of the 4% rule. Now, as powerful as this rule is, it has limitations. Some of the limitations of this rule include the following. Number 1. It is based on U.S. data. Markets in Kenya and other regions may behave differently. Number 2. It assumes a 30-year retirement. What if your retirement lasts longer? Number 3. It assumes stable returns, which may not be the case all the time since markets are unpredictable. Number 4. It may underestimate inflation, especially in developing economies. Even William Benjen himself later acknowledged that market conditions can change. Chapter 7. Alternative rules and approaches. Because of these limitations, other approaches have emerged.
Here are some of them.
First alternative is the 3% rule. This is a more conservative approach, with lower withdrawals percentages, greater safety, and requires more capital. The second alternative is the 25x rule. This is simply the 4% rule reversed. It is calculated as follows: annual expenses times 25. This method is popular among the financial independence, retire early movement, commonly abbreviated as FIRE. The third alternative is the variable withdrawal strategy. Under this method, instead of fixed withdrawals, you adjust based on market performance. The practice here is that during the good years, you withdraw more, and on bad years, you withdraw less. It is more flexible, but requires discipline. The last alternative is the of dynamic spending models. This is a more advanced of the strategies that adjust withdrawals based on portfolio performance, age, and market conditions. These are often used by professional financial planners. Chapter 8. Practical application. Kenyan context. Now, if you're applying this in Kenya, you must adapt it. Consider higher inflation variability, currency risk, access to investment options, and healthcare costs. So, instead of blindly using 4%, you may choose 3.5% or even 3% for more safety. Regardless of the percentage used, the principle remains the same. In calculation, just substitute the 4% by whichever percentage you have chosen. Chapter 9. Final verdict. So, should you rely on the 4% rule? Here's the truth. It is not a guarantee. It is a guideline. Use it to set your financial target, plan your investments, and understand your lifestyle cost. But always adjust for your reality. Let me leave you with this. The 4% rule does not predict your future. It gives you a framework to plan for it. And in financial planning, a clear framework is more powerful than guesswork. If this video helped you understand the science behind financial freedom, like, share, and subscribe to Insurance World TV. In the next video, we'll break down where to invest in Kenya to actually reach your financial freedom number. Because here, we don't just explain money. We show you how to build it so that you don't just follow financial rules, you understand them.